All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rupak Kard. I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of Plant and Soil Science, working with Dr. Qingwu, and I'm also serving as the president of PSS Guide Council. So without any delay, I would like to welcome Dr. Gu, welcome our speaker today.
Okay. Thank you, Rupak. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Xue. Dr. Qingwu Xue is a professor and a Regents Fellow and a faculty fellow at Texas A&M AgriLife Research in Amarillo. He's also an adjunct professor at West Texas A&M University. Dr. Xue received his Ph.D. in agronomy with a focus on agricultural meteorology from the University of Nebraska. The MS in agriculture from West Texas A&M University, and the bachelor's degree in biology from Shanxi Normal University, China. Dr. Xue's research focuses on crop physiology, abiotic stress, drought tolerance, and water management strategies for major crops in the Texas High Plains. Specifically, this includes physiological and molecular mechanisms of drought tolerance, plant traits related to stress tolerance, interactions of abiotic and abiotic stresses. His research also involves developing and evaluating field phenotyping tools and developing management strategies for stress conditions. Dr. Xue was awarded the ASA Fellow in 2023. Currently, he serves as the Associate Editor of Agronomy Journal and editorial board of the Journal of Integrative Agriculture and Agronomy. He has also served as Associate Editor of Crop Science. Dr. Xue has also served in leadership roles in quite a few professional societies. The list is too long, so I'll give that to you now.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak in this seminar. My title is the Improve Crop Drought Tolerance and Water Use Efficiencies. Well, focus on the Texas High Plains. Also, is because this is a very unique environment here in semi-arid environment. Let's be very informal. You can stop me anytime if you have questions. Okay, I think our research is mainly focused the major areas. Texas Panhandle is this top of these 26 counties of the Texas. Plus this area, the Lubbock region, is the south part of the High Plains and north part of High Plains. These two regions are the mainly is agricultural region in the Texas. So especially in the north of Texas we have 26 counties. Also is the economy is, the ag economy is mainly is the livestock and the crop production. So the livestock, the crop is include corn. Yeah, we have corn breeder. Dr. Xue is being played a very important role for corn production and the research. We have wheat. Yeah, I think that's probably about 7-8 years data is corn in this area is 45% of the state total. Wheat is almost 30%. Sorghum is about 14% of the state of Texas. But I think some other regions is also have the sorghum. Cotton, I think this region is the cotton region. Probably get is probably over 50, 60%, well, 80% of the state. I think the rest of the areas, the rest of the Texas, yeah. Cotton in last 8 years is already up to 13%. Keep in mind, cotton, if you go back to 20 years ago, north of the I-40, the cotton percentage is almost zero. It's no cotton in the past. I think cotton in this region is being increased a lot in last 10 years, 15 years. So that is because we have a little bit better water conditions there than the southern plains. Of course, in last few years with the silage, with the dairies here in the Panhandle, the silage production is jumped to the is almost 70%. So plus the beef cattle, that's the traditional ag economy in this region, as well as the dairy and the hog, everything, livestock and the crop, that's add up the total. The economy of this region is $5.7 billion per year. That's the number from 2013 to 2017. So the ag business in this region is very important in the state, especially for the rural economy. For the crop, yeah, it's also important. It's because I think if you look at this region, is probably majority is still the cotton. Maybe have some sorghum as well. Wheat is probably not much in this region. But I think in north of the high plains is, I think in terms of crop, is a little bit more diverse. So, well, I think everybody knows in this region, you've been experienced in the Texas high plains, especially the north of high plains. Drought stress is the #1 issue with us here in this environment. So this graph I'm showing the National Drought Monitor map in first week of May from 2011 all the way to 2022. So why we show the first week of May, that is the wheat, winter wheat is grain filling starting. So that is the water is very important for wheat grain filling. Look at the last 12 years. We only probably have 3 or 4 years is relatively better in terms of drought conditions, but majority of the years is very, very dry. Its drought condition is very severe for wheat production. So that is how severe with the drought affect the wheat. You probably can find the similar thing for cotton as well as corn and sorghum in the summer months. So especially in August, if you look at July and August, that's plus the drought conditions is you always have heat conditions as well. So that's give us the very this environment is very severe in terms of that's drought is always the #1 issue for crop production. So I think before I start anything, let's clear up some definitions. Is what is the drought tolerance? What is the efficiency? Well, I think in terms of crop production for the field crop production, the drought tolerance is, the definition is really simple. Is the ability to achieve higher yield on the drought, especially for the agricultural area. If you look at the plant science, botany, ecology, how do you define the drought tolerance? You may have some different terms and the definitions. But for the agricultural, I think the producers is interested in the higher yield under drought conditions. That's probably the ultimate goal for the crop production. So the water use efficiency is just simply the water use yield is over seasonal evapotranspiration, which means is how efficient the plant can use the water to produce the grain yield. So here the yield is grain is also can be biomass for forage production. So that's all the boil down is how you're going to get the higher yield on the drought conditions. That was you determine the yield determination. So I think there is a conception theory is from the, I think this plant physiologist in Australia, he introduced this equation here is includes the divided by grain yield under drought conditions. There's 3 things. You can improve the evapotranspiration. You can improve the water use efficiency for biomass production. Also, is you can increase the harvest index is very important as well. Why this equation is kind of important is because all these three terms, you can independently improve them, either by genetic improvement or the management improvement. So that is, the evapotranspiration is that how much water you can use from the soil as well, the irrigation and the present precipitation. The water use efficiency for biomass production is more genetic related. I think for example, C4 and C3 plants have a unique difference. Also, on very dry conditions, harvesting to get the grain, you have to have higher harvest index. So keep in mind how the in many studies under limited water conditions, drought conditions, you can improve this kind of things. So in Texas high plains, as well as this region, the evapotranspiration is from three things: from the soil storage, soil water storage, from precipitation and irrigation. So if you look at the typical is for the high evapotranspiration demand for wheat is around 700 millimeters. That can give you a little bit high yield of wheat. Typically you need probably around 120 millimeters soil water from the soil. So I think this 250 millimeters of precipitation is normally from the rainfall. That's the average. It's lots of years you don't have this average. You have less this average. Also, you need about 300 or over 300 millimeters of irrigation water to achieve the higher yield. That's for winter wheat. Go ahead.
It's for this region, right?
This is for the for this area as well as Texas high plains.
Do you think the wind velocity is critical factor to increase evapotranspiration?
Wind? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm just show you this the evapotranspiration relationship with the wheat yield. This is the Texas high plains. The data is mainly from bushland where I work. This is from China's Lost Plateau. That's my hometown. It's Dr. Xu's hometown. In China, we have much higher water use efficiency than here because that is less wind. We have lower evapotranspiration demand in that region. So that's, for example, for winter wheat, if you need to achieve highest yield of winter wheat, you need about 800 millimeters of total evapotranspiration. That's, if you have this water, you can grow corn and grain sorghum as well. Yeah, that's the relationship of the evapotranspiration and the wheat yield. Let's look at the corn. That's the corn data in last 40 years in different era. That's in the 70s, that is 1990s. That is recently the study we conducted here in the Etter area with Dr. Xu. We collect the data. You can see over the decades, corn yield is increased over the decades, but the linear relationship with the seasonal ET is still hold. Also, you can look at here with this 800 millimeters of total evapotranspiration, you can get 16 tons per hectare of the yield for corn. But you only get probably 7 tons of the yield for wheat. So the difference is corn have higher water use efficiency, but corn's water use efficiency higher, but corn needs the water. So if you give enough water, corn, of course, will yield better than the wheat. That is why if you go to you see all this pivot, corn back to 20 years, 15 years, the north of the Panhandle is like this region is corn every year, annual corn, 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 corn. It's like here, cotton, cotton, cotton. So it's pretty much like that because with this kind of water, you can produce high yield of corn. But once you have the drought conditions, the yield is pretty low also. Well, another challenge for the crop production here in the high plains is also, if you look at the daily evapotranspiration demand under this data this is wheat, that is corn. So wheat is no different than corn. You still need under very well-watered conditions, the wheat, the daily evapotranspiration the need is easily over 10 millimeters. It's pretty much like corn. So yeah, that's because why the wheat needs so much water for evapotranspiration. One reason is because it's the wind. So I think in the wheat growing period normally is you look at April, March, April, early May, the wind speed is much higher in this month than the summer month. But the corn, yeah, for both wheat and corn, if you look at the if you can meet all the water evapotranspiration demand, both crops requires very high demand of the water. So that is the very big challenge for us here in the high plains is if you look at the producers put 20 inches, 30 inches of irrigation water, that is pretty typical. But other part of the country, the world is, you really don't need this kind of so much water. Well, yeah, the example can be if you go to Nebraska, the irrigation normally they only use probably 200 millimeters of the irrigation water. 300 is pretty high level of the irrigation, but in our area, 300, 400, 500 millimeters of irrigation water is pretty typical. That is why it's important to better improve the crop drought tolerance as well as to achieve the highest water use efficiency. That is dominated our objectives in our research in the high plains So that's pretty much the research program in our group is in my Hatch project. So we all share the common goal. I think all your research is probably doing the same thing. We want to improve the yield and water use efficiency under very water limited conditions. So for us here is number one, I have few objectives. The first objectives we want to understand the physiological mechanisms for improve the water drought and conditions increase the water use efficiency. Another objective is we've been work with the breeder as well as the geneticists to look at the plant traits as well as QTLs and molecular markers. That's what the pretty much work with the geneticist. Then we also try to get some high throughput phenotype tools to screen the stress under field conditions. So all these things together is we want to develop some management strategies for producers to adopt the best management practice. That's pretty much dominated was our research activities. So in my years here, I started the first season is 2010. So we've been conducting mainly is the field studies. That's the field locations with the latter majority of activities in bushland. So we also have research. Our corn research is mainly in Ether before the Ether station closed in 2014. That's pretty much cooperate with Dr. Xu and Thomas Merrick, the irrigation engineer. So we in that few years, we collected lots of corn data in this station. Bushland and halfway that is also corn. Chillicothe is mainly the wheat. We collect wheat data, and Uvalde also we have some wheat data from Uvalde area. I think over the years, majority of our research is the wheat and corn. So what I'm going to show the mainly is we'll show some wheat and corn data. I don't have much. I think you all have the more research on cotton, so I'm not going to talk about cotton today. So how dry is our area in Texas Panhandle? You can see that is an extremely dry year, 2011, probably. So far, 2011 is the driest year, the most severe drought year in our area. This is and this is start grain filling. The wheat plant is probably only 20 centimeters tall. You can see how thin of the canopy. So this is 2018 is another extremely dry year for wheat. You can see how crack of this soil. So that is another extremely dry year. So that's for these two seasons, 2011. So I'm talking about 2011 for wheat season is from 2010 to 2011. 2018 season is from 2017 to 2018. That's, yeah, you are across the year. For these two seasons, the whole season there's almost no rainfall. So it's pretty much wheat is all from the soil stored, the water from the soil storage. So that is, you can see how dry it is. Also, this is the seasonal rainfall for wheat season from normally is from in bushland is normally is from October to June. So you can see from 2010 to 2020, you can see the difference among the years. The average is 250 millimeters of seasonal rainfall, but the range is from almost 0 to over 500 millimeters. For this, for example, 2015, the month of May, we get probably more than half of the seasonal rainfall. Same thing with 2019. So the majority of the rainfall is there in April and May. So that's how how it's very challenging for us to grow wheat and conduct research in wheat over the years. You see, this is a seasonal rainfall. The range is so big. So also, the range varies a lot among the different months. This just show the five seasons. You can see the range. Every month you have very big range in different years in terms of precipitation. So that's the precipitation pattern different in annually, each season different each month. That's add huge challenge to our to producers for production. Also is add the very big challenge for our researchers. If you want to conduct good research, you have to repeat so many years. to get the good results, consistent results. So keep in mind of this kind of the environmental conditions, how this is dominating our research. So it's put a lot of challenge to our research. So if you look at the yield, this is dryland wheat yield at bushland from 2010 to 2020 in 11 years. So the yield, we have three years. We don't have any harvest. So in 2013 was the freeze plus hail damage. 2014, that was dry condition. We even didn't plant the dryland wheat. 2015, we have lots of rainfall. We have totally 500 millimeters of rainfall. But right before we harvest, one big hill is destroyed everything. So that's the dryland. Also, if you look at the yield range, it's from anywhere from less than 1,000 kilograms per hectare yield, all the way to about 5,000 kilograms per hectare yield. So you're not only see the different among the different seasons, it also is, this difference is from genetics, from the different varieties. You can see the huge difference among the varieties. So that's the dryland conditions. So irrigation conditions didn't, the variation is no different than the dryland. Also, it's lots of variation in terms of wheat yield. Among the years, as well among the varieties, that's the genetic differences. So this is what we are more interested to see how we are can continuously improve the wheat yield or improve the drought tolerance and water use efficiency. So among, you can see among the varieties, there is very different. So that's the some top varieties in the Panhandle in our nurseries. You can see on the, this is the extremely dry conditions, 2018. So some of these old varieties have low yield, but you still have some new varieties have higher yield. So the percentage wise, you look at 20 to 30% of yield improvement in terms of genetic improvement. That's the on the dryland condition, extremely dry conditions. So this is that is a little bit very good year. It's 2019. Even you have very good rainfall conditions, we still have see significantly increase the genetic improvement. So that is still the new varieties is still out yield the old varieties. So how do we improve the drought tolerance and wheat as and water use efficiency? So that's what we mean look at different traits. This is from a plant physiologist in his work is mainly in the spring wheat in semi-arid. So I think he being classified the 4 types of the traits in terms of the drought tolerance as well as water use efficiency. For us, we are more interested in this group is the early growth for the biomass production. And this group is we want to improve the above ground, like how the plants to capture the water. So that is how the plants we can get the early, how you get the early establishment, let plants to develop the root system to effectively use the water in the soil. This will give you we are looking for some ability to get effective use the water in the soil. So that's pretty much over the years the traits we've been looking for. specific for the Texas high plains in wheat. I think corn have the similar thing, but I will show some data. So first thing we look at the trees is we been use the wireless IRT to monitor the difference among the wheat varieties in terms of canopy temperature. We look at canopy temperature depression is the air temperature minus the canopy temperature. We use this sensor there used to be another company is called Smart Field. So this field was a service company. They've been doing this for irrigation. They use a wireless IRT for irrigation scheduling cotton. But we are interested to use this to monitor the wheat canopy temperature continuously to see the genetic differences. So you can see here there is a clear difference among the genotypes in terms of air canopy temperature depression. Also, there is a clear linear relationship with the grain yield on the dryland conditions with the canopy temperature depression and grain yield. So what this graph means is if you have a cooler canopy, it's very likely you will have the higher yield under dryland conditions in wheat in the high plains. I think the Australians also found this kind of trend in the spring wheat. So why the plants with a higher yield have cooler canopy? That is because they can use more water. They can take more water from the soil profile. That's the different years with the soil water content among the profile at different depths. So over the years, we always find that the newer is better varieties have higher, they can use the water from the soil profile, especially deeper profile. So they've been developed the ability to better use the water from the soil. So they can use this kind of character to keep the canopy cooling. If you look at the different amount of varieties, the genotypes, you can see this is the 2018 with extremely dry conditions. The water use in different varieties. This is a very old variety. That is most drought tolerant varieties, a little bit newer varieties. You can see the topsoil, they all can use the water from the topsoil. Once you get the middle, the deeper soil profile, the newer varieties have better ability to use the water, get the water from the deeper soil profile. That is how why they can get the canopy, cooler canopy. So we've been looking at different ways to do the field phenotyping. Is the early years we look at some ground-based of the tools. So we use this is from the thermal. This is the thermal camera. That's the image from a thermal camera. Then we have this ground-based factor mounted is NDVI device. Yeah, we also use the use the airplane to do the aerial photography also. That's the first early years, the technology we've been used for doing the field phenotyping. So you can see that's the ground-based NDVI. You can see in that's from Chillicothe, 2014. You can see the difference in terms of plant height and the NDVI. So later on, we also use the airplane. That's from this airplane from this Mr. Olan Moore. He's a crop consultant. He flied our plots over the years, our corn in halfway bushland and ether, as well as the wheat at bushland. So we also use this airplane to collect some data. So that's some different spectral wavelengths from this device through the airplane. So that's the more recently, I think you all have, probably you have better also with the UAV platform in last few years here. So we started probably somewhere 2018, 2019 until now. So we've been use this UAV platform to collect data from our wheat plots, as well as the corn. We also have some data for corn as well. So that's we use that's pretty much the image process from the UAV data. I think probably you all are better familiar this to me. I think that's what we look at the different indices of the multispectral and NDVI in different wavelengths. That's the wheat plots from the bushland. So that's pretty much the wheat. Over the years, what we did on wheat. For corn, the majority of because we almost have no dryland corn. I think I've been at bushland over 10 years. We only have 2 years, 2 to 3 years with dryland corn. So our corn is mainly the irrigated corn. So the corn study is pretty much under irrigation conditions. Also, we use different level of irrigation. So that is pretty much is the I think our study is mostly is under the center pivot as well as sub-drip system at Etter and bushland and halfway. So what we found is I think most time our corn study is trying to save the reduce the water, irrigation water. So what we found is if you use the new generation of drought tolerant corn, you can pretty much maximize your yield and water use efficiency. Also, we characterize different corn hybrids with different characters. So what we found is the new hybrids, they can, number one, they can tolerate high planting density. Also, the number two, they have more yield stability under drought conditions. Also, over the years, we also compare the corn hybrids in different characters. With commercial also is our Dr. Xue's hybrids. We found a very different the characters of in terms of physiological response under drought conditions in different hybrids. So you can see here is this is a study. That is 4-year study in Etter. I think Dr. Xue is part of this publication as well. You can see is when you reduce the yield, when you reduce your irrigation by 25%. So some years we don't reduce the yield. You see this 4 years, at least 2 years, we don't reduce the yield. Even this reduce the yield, we only probably reduce yield less than 25%. But once you get to the 50% of the irrigation level, the yield is decreased significantly. So that's probably for producers is not the irrigation level they accept. But this kind of irrigation level is producers can accept. Also, you can see here is the once you get this 75% of the reduce the irrigation level by 25%, you pretty much maximize your water use efficiency at this level. So which we pretty much effectively use the irrigation water or produce the yield. So also, if you look at the yield function, seasonal evapotranspiration and the yield, that's 2 varieties. One is this is the new varieties, drought tolerant variety. This is the old conventional variety. You can see is all this is very low ET levels. The new varieties improve the drought tolerant varieties always out yield the conventional variety as the hybrid. So here, this curve line is from 2011. That extremely dry year is. In this year, no matter how much water you put there, the plants, the crops will take it. So you just cannot improve your water use efficiency yield anymore with high demand because this year is extremely dry conditions. That's probably some extremely, but most of the years is pretty much like this level. So what also we found in corn, the difference in terms of drought, conventional hybrids and drought tolerant hybrids. The drought tolerant hybrids didn't use much water as the conventional hybrids under water limited conditions. But they also have the ability to extract more water from deeper profile. So they even use less water than the conventional hybrids, but they can use the water from deeper profile. That's the reason they can save some irrigation water to use the soil water to improve the yield. That is pretty much the similar characters we found in corn compared with wheat. So because we found this kind of phenomena, so we get a project from the Oglala Aquifer program to specific look at the roots of the different hybrids this is in the greenhouse. So we use 4 hybrids. It's the 3 commercial hybrids. 1 hybrid is Dr. Xue breed for the Dr. Xue's hybrid. This particular hybrid is very interesting, have very large root system. We have the commercial hybrids, the root system is probably smaller. Also, this is a conventional hybrid, it's not drought tolerant hybrid. So we look at the both above ground as well as below ground root study. With this study, we found is the hybrids have very different characters in terms of both above ground as well as root growth. So that is, you have to, if you are a producer, you have to select your hybrids based on your water situation, how much water you have. Also, is what kind of you want to use the grain or use the silage. So we also found the difference in terms of is the commercial drought tolerant hybrid and our own drought tolerant hybrid just totally respond to water is differently in terms of the yield difference. Also is the root growth and especially the root growth. So these hybrids have the very large root system. It required water in the early stage, but later stage you probably can reduce your water. You can let the roots take care of the water, get the water from the deeper profile. So that's over the years of the what we found in both wheat and corn. So I think through over the years of our study, we right now is in the future. I think for us, we probably will focus on the look at the root trees in terms of both wheat as well as corn in the research. We want to. I'm hoping we can identified more routine traits related to soil, water uptake, and as well as water use in both wheat and corn. That's probably something we've been trying to look at funding, looking for funding. That is one part of our future study. Another part of, yeah, we're still trying to get the better the UAV platform to combine this platform. Yeah, I think I'm close to finish. I think, yeah, I think in the future, we probably will look at both systems from, one is from above ground, from the air, one is from the below ground. So, yeah, I would like to thank my crew over the years. We have so many years, we have the postdoc students and visiting scholars in working our group. So that's some pictures from the before the pandemic. So we don't have many. I think after pandemic, my crew is getting smaller, so we don't have many people now. But we used to have more people in our group. I also thank my collaborators over the years. This is my our major collaborators in our colleagues in the AgriLife research and Texas A&M, WT, and ARS. So without these collaborators, we just cannot achieve so much. Especially you see our corn, for corn study, I have two major collaborators. One is Wenwei, another is the irrigation engineer, Thomas Merrick. Without them, I think most of corn data is probably not as good as we can get. We still have lots of corn data to be published, even just from the editor in a few years. We also have some data from halfway is still not published. So also we have I have acknowledged over the years with our funding sources from USDA, commodity groups, as well as the water districts, as well as the TDA and AgriLife research and different private companies. So right now, recently we just get a bird foundation project. This is an international project. It's a straightforward agronomy study, but we're trying to combine to use the solar energy facility to improve the agronomy part. It's pretty much like this energy and water synergy. I'm hoping this is a brand new study. I'm hoping we will get some success with this study. So with that, I'm stop here to see if you have any questions or discussions. If any undergraduate student want to work in our group for the summer, I'm still looking for students.
There are also some questions in the chat. I'm sorry, I'm online. I can't see if somebody's raising their hand, but there are a couple of questions in the chat.
Okay, there is an online question is, have you studied roots trees in cotton? No, we haven't done any cotton roots, but the root study we mainly conducted in the corn and the wheat. Yeah, there is an online question, have you looked at inoculating wheat or corn with mycorrhizal to further increase water use efficiency in plants? It would be benefit likely in terms of water and the nutrient uptake. We haven't done much this kind of study, but last year I do have a study. We inoculate the bacteria to corn. The yield difference is very significant. That's to be my surprise. Normally, you really don't see this kind of response very very quickly. But last year, we might have a very unique environmental conditions because of the planting, corn planting. We planted Wenwei's corn in first week of May. Then after his corn up emerged, we got 3 weeks of rain, so we were not able to plant corn until the third week of June. The soil was so wet, it's have some stand issues. But all these plots we inoculate with kind of special bacteria. They have very good stands. Also, they have higher plants. That's not funguses, but that's the bacteria. And I don't know if the company will still want us to do that study or not. I think this kind of studies be interesting, but lots of times we don't have, it's not easy to get the funding for this kind of study. Yes, I think, yeah, the online is, fungus will act as an extension of root system. Yes, we hope to find this kind of phenomena, but we work with plant pathologists on campus. They may analyze our soil, but I need to find out how she want her results there in terms of the soil at bushland.
Is not confidential for this source of that bacteria and species that you did?
They didn't tell me. They just, they have two bacteria, also they separate. Then when we apply them, we put them together, put into the soil. Yeah, they didn't tell us what kind of bacteria. That's a company study. Yeah, that's.
Thank you for your presentation. And I want to ask about the variation between the EP 100% and 50%. As you mentioned at the beginning of the season, we applied the fall derivation with EP 100%, and then we decrease. So depending on the growth stage, would be dramatically affect on the plant. So could you please specify more about the time that you applied the EP 100% and then?
I think in our studies, we pretty much is, for example, once we always use 100%. We always get enough water for plants to establish for corn. So normally our first and second irrigation will be 100% level. Then we will reduce we will put our treatment maybe third irrigation. Then it's also, yeah, we proportionally reduce the amount of, yeah. That's how the irrigation schedule was designed. But another, for example, if you have a drip system, sometimes you can reduce the irrigation based on the growth stage, as well as the weather pattern. So our facility is sometimes we cannot do that with the current facility.
So, Dr. Xue, with all the work you have done, what do you think your ideal drought ton of corn plan would look like?
Okay. Number one, it depends on what kind of water conditions we're target. If we target is very limited conditions, I would have a hybrid grow, well, early stage grow fast. Then get to the soaking stage. We need a genotype is be able to. I think it's kind of combination of these two drought tolerant hybrids. One is we use less water during the early stage. Now we save more water during grain filling. So that is what your large roots will play a important role during the grain filling. Once their roots established, we can reduce the water, but they still be able to use the water from the soil to finish the yield. That's probably the a better combination of the two characters.
Do you think we have a large leaf vegetation or small leaf vegetation?
I think it's also depends. So right now is majority, you see almost all the hybrids of corn hybrids erect leaves. That is what because it's bred for the increased light use efficiency. In terms of water, sometimes it's larger leaf. I'm not sure about corn, but I know the wheat better in terms of leaf size. What we found in our wheat varieties, the more drought tolerant wheat is always have the small leaves, but they have a thick leaves. The leaf structure is be different. So they have the characters of these wheat leaves is the leaf area is small, but the thickness is thicker. All this leaf is thicker. Also, some of our varieties have some probably have more wax to reflect the high radiation. That's some characters we found in wheat. I'm hoping we can find something in corn. Well, you have all the germ plants. We probably need to measure some of these characters.
So it's a higher density or lower density, stomach density, which one better?
Well, yeah, if you have a higher density of stomates, yeah, you will lose more water. But if you have low density of stomates, you will lose less water. I believe is in the stomates is one character. I think the leaf structure is another character. Probably some combination of leaf trees. Yeah, it's. I think the classic example is the stomates of these hemp plants. They have very special structure. They close during the day, open during the night. They have highest water use efficiency. However, they have lowest productivity. They have lowest yield. That is not desired for producers. Ecologically, they have meanings there, but if you are talking about the yield, agricultural yield, that's probably is not desired trait.
Water content up to 130 or 140 centimeters. So how you measure what sensor you use?
Repeat your.
Water content measured up to 130 or 140 centimeters of the soil depth.
Oh, we measure the soil water to 2.4 meters, 9 feet. That's the typical neutron probe we can measure. So for wheat, yeah, the wheat plants can use water all the whole profile of 2.4 meters if you have a good year. Corn, what we found, the corn is normally pretty much the corn use water is just limited to 1.6, less than 2 meters. Yeah, wheat, sorghum, cotton, they can get the water from very deep soil, but corn is just don't use, corn roots just don't go that deep.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.